On August 28, 1955, in Money, Mississippi, Emmett Till was a 14-year-old boy who was brutally murdered by 4 white people. Because of his so-called whistling at a white woman, this sparked the civil rights movement. The ongoing story of Emmett Till has changed lives and many thoughts, which in turn created a massive change in history. Emmett Till was a 14-year-old boy that was stolen, tortured, and killed after being accused of offending a white woman, Carol Bryant. In 1955, in Mississippi, Emmett Till was visiting his cousins when this happened. With Till being unaware of the forced segregation rules, Emmett Till directed a whistle at Carolyn. This led to her family members tracking down Till, torturing him, and throwing him into the Tallahassee River. His body was bloated and physically mutilated. When his uncle found out that he died, he had to call his mother since he was not with him. When Mamie Till, Emmett Till's mother, found out that her son was tortured and killed, she screamed from the top of her lungs. She wanted to make a statement, so she made her son have an open casket funeral. Mamie wanted the whole world to know what happened to her innocent son and how he did nothing and still got killed in return. Let the people see what they did to my boy, says Mamie Till. When Till was 4 years old, him and his mother found out that his father was executed by the government. His father was a soldier stationed in Italy during the World War II. Many years later, Till's father was convicted of being a rapist and murderer of 3 Italian women. His father was sentenced to death. Till was raised by his mother and his grandmother. He was labeled as a happy, funny, smart, intelligent young man. He excelled at art and science in school. Emmett was known as Prankster. Carol Bryant from Indianola, Mississippi. Bryant was a high school dropout who married an ex-soldier, Roy Bryant. Emmett was a prankster and was dared by his friends to ask a white woman out. As he claimed, he had a white girlfriend. Carol later claimed that Emmett grabbed and whistled at her as she left the store. When Roy heard about this, he rushed over to Till's house with his half-brother and forced Till into their car. After they beat Till, they forced him to carry a 75-pound cotton bin to the bank and made him take off his clothes.
Carolyn Bryant claimed herself to be a victim. Bryant claimed that she pleaded to have her husband and brother not to hurt Till. The lawyers of Till's family knew that she was lying because her unpublished memoir was full of deficiencies and errors. Carolyn claimed that she told her husband that it was the wrong boy. In her 99-page book, Carolyn never retracted her accusation against Till, but in the book she wrote that she was never hurt in the store, only scared. She claimed that she tried to tell her husband to forget about it. Carolyn was never arrested because there was never enough evidence to open Till's case back up. In 2017, author Timothy Tyson revealed that Bryant admitted to him in 2008 that her 1955 accusation was false. She later died in 2023 at the age of 88, and her words doomed Emmett Till. After viewing Till's story from the magazine papers, the NAACP created a secret search for African American witnesses. After Till's impact on the world, African Americans across the country struggled for justice. Even though they struggled, Till's case sparked activism and pushed African American people to fight for justice. The world changed after members of the civil rights movement started to let their voice be heard. The more African Americans were treated poorly, the more they started to fight back and change the world's view on black people. Jim Crow laws were passed. Jim Crow laws meant that there was legalized segregation in certain parts of the U.S. These laws were enforced up until 1965. Dominant white Americans made laws that removed political and economical gains made by African Americans. The Emmett Till Anti-Lynching Act was passed by President Joe Biden. Joe Biden made this act a federal hate crime for the first time in American history. Biden congratulated Ida B. Wells and Emmett Till's family for never giving up and never losing hope, as he decided to make this act. The son of a slave, George Henry White, was the first person who introduced lynching as a federal crime. Similar laws like this failed to have been passed. No federal law prohibited lynching until the day Biden enacted it. Emmett Till's case has impacted African American people then and now. Till's case made the news headlines all around the world. Till's killers, Roy Bryant and J.W. Milam, were later acquitted from their crimes by an all-white jury. When Bryant and Milam got away, they bragged about how they got away and how they tortured and murdered Till. Mamie Till tried to get the case to reopen, but was not successful. After failing to have the case reopened, Mamie decided to publish pictures of Till's mutilated body on a magazine to draw the right attention. This sparked the civil rights movement into an ongoing motion. Emmett Till's case has showed the world the amount of injustice there is. He brought people together to realize that. Although his killers were never convicted for their crimes, Emmett's face and name still helps the fight for equality.
Black Lives Matter.